Kathy and I had a couple come see us a while back that were fighting. Now, they had both been married 3 times before, and they hadn't been married very long, and they started coming to our church and they needed help, and so we met with them, and they were just great examples of people that did not know how to deal with conflict. Look, in any relationship, you're going to have conflict, especially in marriage, because you're together so much of your lives intersect with each other. There's going to be a lot of opportunities that will come through conflict because you're going to have a lot of conflict. So you better learn how to resolve it. You better learn how to get stronger through it. You better learn how to fight fair. In Ephesians chapter 4, we get 5 principles for fair fighting when it comes to conflict. The first is found in verse 25. It says, "Therefore, put away lying, let each of you speak the truth." Don't lie to each other. Obviously, never lie. Don't be dishonest. Speak the truth. But also be honest about your feelings. Be honest about the fact that, look, there's a situation here we need to talk about. There's a situation that is a problem. Now, examine yourself and make sure it's legitimate, but then be honest. If your mate asks you, is something wrong? Be honest. Second, stay controlled. It says in verse 26, "Be angry and do not sin." When you get angry, when you start yelling, when you lose your temper, you're just adding to the problem and making it bigger. You're taking the focus off fixing it and putting the focus on your anger. Stay controlled and stay positive. Watch the words that come out of your mouth. A man named John Gutman, who did a lot of research when it comes to marriage, especially in terms of communication, found that couples that communicate more positively to one another will have stronger marriages. For example, the positive to negative ratio, if there was less than 1% positive for every 1 negative, those couples tended to end in divorce. But if this couple had 5 positives for every 1 negative, those couples ended up with strong marriage. Learn to stay controlled. Learn to stay positive. Number 3, seek resolution. This is where that couple we were talking with just didn't have a clue how to do it. They'd get mad at each other and they'd start attacking each other. Well, first of all, you got to acknowledge a problem. And the way you do it is say, look, come over here next to me, and this is the problem. This is the situation, and you put the situation out here, you together. And then attack the problem and not the person. This is what people do wrong. They get the problem between them. And so instead of fixing the problem, they attack the person. And so the person gets defensive, the person attacks back, and they're just adding to the problem. That's not the way to do it. Say, hey, I love you. We're committed to each other. We've got something we need to talk about. Let's talk about this issue and let's work on fixing it together. Admit your share. Okay, I can see where I'm adding to the problem, or I started this problem. I admit my share of the problem and ask forgiveness. We talked about that. Be willing to say, look, I see it. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I love you. Seek resolution. Number 4, build bridges and not walls. Paul says, "Let no corrupt word proceed out of your mouth, but only what is good for necessary edification, that it may impart grace to the hearers." Watch your words. You can add to the problem or you can diminish the problem. Take away the unhealthy, the unnecessary, the words that just hurt the other person, and put in words of grace, words of edification. Everything you say should pass this test. Is what I'm saying true? Is it really true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? Do I really need to say it? When you do that, you're building bridges all the time instead of building walls. Number 5, replace the bitterness with kindness. Okay, you've gone through a situation, your mate has hurt you. You've talked about it. You've tried to resolve it. You're trying to do your part. Well, at the end of this passage it says, "Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice, and be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God in Christ has forgiven you." Replace the bitterness with kindness and forgiveness. Choose to forgive. Choose to love. It's a choice. You might not feel it, but you make the choice. I guarantee you, if you will practice these principles of fair fighting, you can resolve conflicts, and conflict will actually bring you closer instead of further apart.